Hey, what's up guys? This is Doug from merchmetrics.com. Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to go through my process for Merch by Amazon on how I design, how I find keywords, how I find designs that I like, how I find niches, and then how I set up my workspace within Adobe Illustrator after I've done my research to kind of give me the best chance to create a new design using references and using the research that I've done, but also creating my own spin on it. So I'm going to show you kind of behind the scenes how I do everything. I'm going to jump into my computer here in just a minute. I'm going to take you through the research process, show you how I do my research, and then I'll show you back in Illustrator, and you can use any tool. It doesn't matter if you use Illustrator or not, but I'll show you how I set up my workspace so that I can see all the things that I've researched at once. I have my color palettes, I have the designs that I've looked at. So I'm kind of thinking about the keywords, but I'm not actually like focused on the keywords when I'm doing the designing. I then loop back around when I'm done and I write descriptions. If I have to, I go back and look at my reference material, but I think usually from the research that I did at the beginning, I'll know enough to decide, you know, what kind of keywords I want to go for. So I'm going to jump to the computer and I'll show you guys exactly how all of that works. All right, we're in the computer and I've gone ahead and I headed over to Merch Informer. You guys know I use Merch Informer for pretty much all my research. If you're not already a Merch Informer member, definitely check out in the description below. I will have my coupon code. If you want to sign up, you can save 20%, and that's for the life of your account as long as you stay a member. It's an awesome tool. If you go with the Pro plan, they also have the their Merch Designer, the tool that allows you to create designs. It's awesome. I mean, it's definitely, I don't use the Merch Designer anymore. I know when I set my mom up on her account, she used it because she's just not computer savvy and didn't feel comfortable on Adobe Illustrator. But I digress. That's where I do my research. They do have Etsy and Pinterest search now. I usually start with the keyword research and I go to, let's see, which one do I like? Product research and then Merch Hunter. That's the one I like. I like the fact that I can filter based on BSR. I don't usually want to go for these top BSR niches. I don't like the competition. I'd rather have a whole bunch of designs that sell a couple times a week, a couple times a month. And that's just where I'm at with what I'm trying to do. If you guys are paying more attention to copycats and things like that, and you have the time to like really devote to spending on your Merch by Amazon account, then by all means, you know, try to compete at the most competitive keywords. Not that I don't get copycats at the lower BSRs. Trust me, I do. And we might actually see one later. I ran into a copy earlier today, which I don't know. I might report it. It's similar, but it's like not exact, so I don't know. But I digress, right? Let's look at some merch designs and start making a list. Now, the first thing I always do before anything else when I'm starting research for a batch of products that I want to create, I'm going to go to the favorites. I'm going to go to products and I'm going to create a new keyword list. I'm going to add category and I usually pick the date. That way I can keep track of when I did the research. As you can see, I've already made one for today and I have already actually done a bunch of research for my designs that I'm going to do later on tonight. But you could give this whatever, say I do this tomorrow. You give it whatever name you want. This just keeps it organized for me and I know, you know, when if today's the 16th, I know that I want to do the designs that are in that category. So that's just how I do it. You can always delete them. I deleted all of mine today except for the current one. And that's the one we're going to use. So let's go back to keyword research, product research, and the Merch Hunter. Now, I think the sweet spot for me is between like 1 and 1.5 million BSR, maybe even a little higher than that. Now, if we were to do the search right now, we're going to get just an absolute ton of results. I drop this down to 500, so I just get the top 500, and then I'm going to click search. We're not just going to be in Merch Informer. If you're just thinking this is a Merch Informer like sales video, it's not. If you don't have it and you want to get it, if you don't, whatever, you can just use the research I do today for yourself. So this is not, you know, a sales video by any means. This is just the process that I use. So now that I have 500 results starting at 1 million and going to 1,513,000, I'm going to go down through these and just see if anything jumps out at me that is something that I could easily recreate. This one has an American flag with a sort of a, so just looking at it from a design perspective, it looks really cool, but it's probably just a vector flower, right, used as a mask with the flag behind it. And it looks really cool, and it would be pretty easy to recreate, and the 4th of July is coming up, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save that one, because we could think of different pictures we could use, different, different American iconography or whatever, that we could use to create this design very similar to this, using our own take on it. Different color schemes, different images, all that. So I'm going to go ahead and click the heart. Excuse me. And then I'm going to click my favorites. If I had multiple favorites, it would have them all listed here, but this just makes it super easy. And then I click submit, and that one is now saved. I'm just going to go down through. So I'm just looking for things that not only are selling well, but that I think I could do something similar or better, that has a color scheme that is attractive to me. It's just something that that I look at when I'm creating designs. I try not to create anything that I wouldn't wear myself. It hasn't always been that way on merch. I used to just create whatever, but I'll tell you, it makes a difference. If you just think about it from your own perspective, you have a better chance of making sales. That one's pretty cool. I don't think that I could recreate it easily. I could recreate it, but it would take me a long time, I think. So let's just skip that one. And as we go down, you'll see I'm not picking a lot. I'm not really... I'm focusing on things that I think I can actually improve. And obviously, I'm avoiding things like trademark terms like Star Wars. This one's interesting. It's an investing shirt. It has a bowl on it, and then just a whole bunch of what look like investing or market type graphics. I'm going to heart that one. I don't know that it's something I would actually try to create. I do like the color scheme. So we'll go ahead and mark that one, and we'll just go through these. I'll sort of go a little faster. Like, this is cool, but it's a little too elaborate for me. This one wouldn't be that hard. I guess there's a soccer themed shirt. I've seen a lot of this color scheme with the teal and pink lately. Seems like that's really popular. Can't go wrong with white on a dark colored shirt. That's something that's always going to be in style. Some of these fish, the flying fish, like, this is just a graphic they got somewhere. That's definitely something that I could emulate. Maybe not a flying fish, maybe just other sport fish. If I could find cool drawings that are either create them myself or cool drawings that are in the public domain that I could use for free, that's the kind of design that you can easily get out really quickly. Just image trace that thing and then put it on a shirt. Nobody cares, work harder. That's an easy one. We could just think of some other slogans that sort of are similar that involve working harder. Let's see. This is a cool color scheme. That's not a design that I would emulate. This is just too easy to create, and too many people have already created these exact style of designs. So I'm not gonna use that one. This one's a really bad design, and I find it kind of funny. It's very hard to read. It's a terrible font for a t-shirt. That's something that we could definitely improve upon. I don't think I'll actually make it, but we'll see, maybe. Here's another American flag punch out. They added looks like some texture to it, and they have a cool soccer graphic. That's something you could apply to basically any niche, right? Anything that can be associated with America or that America has a team for. Super easy. Alright, I'm just going to go through another page or two. I will show you one trick at the end. I mean, this is very easy. It's like a clip art design. I look for things that are a little bit more original, and I haven't found anything on this search. I did do a search earlier today, and I'll show you what I came up with. We'll just go through those. I did want to show you a trick. If I go to the last page here, you saw I put from 1 million to 1.5 million in as my range. But if I go to the last shirt on the list, like say I get to the end and I don't have enough designs in my favorites, we can look at what the BSR is of the last shirt. This BSR is 1,007,000. So we want to change it to like 1,008,000, or 1,799,12 is fine. If I search again, I'll get all new results. There's just a ton of shirts that are in that category, thousands of shirts in that range. And as you can see, you just scroll through, there's just an unlimited amount. All right, so let's say I went through, I did all my research. I'll show you guys the favorites that I came up with earlier today, and I'll tell you why. The tie-dye designs are huge. I found a whole bunch, and they're super simple to make, right? It's just any vector used as a mask for a tie-dye image behind it. And you can see there's just a ton. People did peace signs and all kinds of stuff, different states. It's like, well, that's super easy. That's something I can absolutely come up with my own items to use as a mask, right? Use a buffalo, use a I don't know, use an anchor, use a whatever. It doesn't matter, but we can come up with a whole bunch of more ideas based off of that one. We could also use different tie-dye. These are all the rainbow tie-dye. We could use like all one color tie-dye, like all blue, all green, or what have you. Anti-B, this one was just very simple. It's just a really cool font. And the graphic would be super easy to create. It's just a very simple graphic. This one, People Are Dying to See Me, Embalmer Life. I don't know how many embalmers there are, but this BSR was pretty good. So obviously there's enough to justify it. I guess 1.8. Not great, but it's been as high as 300,000, 305,000 in May. What is that? May 06? May 6th? May 6th. That's May 6th this year. So yeah. So I don't know where all these embalmers are, but obviously there's some in every town, right? This one I like the color scheme. It was a cool graphic. It almost looks like a chalk design. I grabbed this one. I showed it to you, but I grabbed it earlier today, and I was thinking about it. I was like, nah, it's too complicated. This particular one, the Norse mythology with the hammer, this image is a historical image that someone has recreated, and you'll see I have a couple of them here. This one's, well, I'm almost certain this one's a copy, and if you scroll down, I found a better one that's probably the one that got copied. Let's see if I can find it. I probably passed it. You guys don't know. Or are you trying to yell at your screen? This one. Yeah, so this one's actually really a good design. It like pops out of the t-shirt. It's really easy to read. It's more elaborate. So I'm thinking the other one was definitely a copy of this one, which unfortunately has hurt the BSR on this one, but it is what it is. That's the business. There's the couple that we just found. These flag shirts, I mean, how easy would it be to recreate that? This is not one I would recreate. I just grabbed it because how simple was that? All they did was take a flag and add some texture to it. This one for knife lovers. I mean, I don't know how many knife lover t-shirts are out there. It sounded like a niche that was probably still wide open, so that's why I grabbed this one. Not because I necessarily liked this design or have ever created one of these heartbeat designs. This one, I like the color scheme. This sunset was super popular a few years ago, but it was a different color scheme. And you can see people are branching out a little bit or making their own. Yeah, and this one too is sort of a faded pastel-y version of the same color scheme, which I really liked. This one's more like the traditional. I was like, what? There's obviously not surfing everywhere, so there's other things that people do recreationally. Put a golfer there with in his backswing or something, It's just something I could do with another sunset. Saltwater Life. I know Salt Life for a long time was pretty popular. I think it's trademarked now, so Saltwater Life. I was just surprised to see that this one was also selling. This one's a P40 Warhawk nose art. This one, nobody could possibly own this. This is not a trademarkable or a copyrightable design if this is the exact one that was used on the nose art. So that's an interesting one. And what other nose art is there? There's tons, right? There's just tons of nose art from World War II, and you could go look those up and recreate or use them as a guide to kind of create your own, because that's not very complicated, right? That's a pretty simple design if you think about it. So there's all the pinups that were on the nose art and all that stuff that people could find popular. This social worker design, I thought, man, that's super simple and very white. Social workers must be a good niche because this one's selling pretty well, but I bet you that different designs for social workers could sell even better because this one is not that impressive, right? Carp Slayer, I was like, oh, okay, well, there's how many different sport fish are there? There's got to be you know, thousands of different species that people are obsessed with fishing. So if carp is one of them, then there's got to be more. So I was thinking, you know, go look up a list of all the top sport fish in the United States, or in, you know, whatever country you want to focus on, and then create designs around that. I like this one because it looked like a chalk. It almost looked like chalk. It's just a vector of a girl with a soccer ball, and then they used the same vector behind it, just blown up a little bit, to create a shadow effect over a flag. I mean, super easy. Could be any sport, could be any activity, any hobby, as long as it, you know, it's recognizable. So that's how I sort of do my research. From there, I go ahead and I jump over into Adobe Illustrator, and you can see I just copy and paste the designs that I like over into my workspace so that I can see them at the time. And now I'm not trying to copy these designs. I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm going to make a Wisconsin shirt. No, I liked this one because it's a take on that. It's a take on that sunset theme, but it's creative. Somebody did something different, and that's what I liked about it. Not because it's a Wisconsin flag or because it's a punch out of a state or whatever. I'm not necessarily going to go copy any of that. I just want to see this this different take on the sunset that somebody has done when I start creating. This Mozart one's interesting because there's a ton of videos on YouTube about how to do this effect since the popular Barack Obama poster. So this, if you could think of other famous people, maybe you know, other historical figures or what have you, you know, whatever, you could easily recreate this based on artwork that is in the public domain. This is probably painted hundreds of years ago, right? So, and then this one is something that I liked because I thought that the graphic that they created was actually good. It was actually original. I mean, this looks like a well-designed shirt, you know, from beginning to end. Maybe the text is just a hair too big for inside of the shape, but I mean, it looks fine to me. I liked that one a lot. So anyway, that's sort of my process. Now that I have this all set up, I can start designing. I can come up with what I want to do for my own designs. I'm not going to take you through that part because I don't want to give away the designs. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll do a design, pick some generic stuff in an upcoming video, and we can just go through that. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. You know, good luck with your designing this week, guys, and I will see you in the next video.